You know what I thought of? I go to the movies every week, so I have to tell you guys what I think. I am back to do another movie review. The movie that I just recently went to go see. If you love action, then this is a movie that you need to see. It is so good, you guys. I'm telling you. I am back to do another movie review. Now, make sure that you do like my video. Also, subscribe, of course. But you know what? Why don't you go ahead and leave some comments. Tell me about if you've seen the movie, if you like the movie, or other ideas of movies that you would like me to review on, or any questions that you have for me. Go ahead and leave those in the comment. But let me tell you about the movie, you guys, that I've seen over the weekend. Oh my gosh, it's going to make me cry. And it has been a long time since I cried over a movie. So let me give you a little backstory about it. Look at this.
Hansen, today is going to be an amazing day, and here's why.
Have you been doing those letters to yourself with Dr. Sherman?
I've been trying to. Have you ever felt like nobody was there?
No one signed your cast. Now we can both pretend we are friends.
I'm sorry about my brother.
Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? I wish everything was different. Wish I was part of something. I wish that anything I said mattered. Have you ever felt like you could disappear?
Steven Hansen.
Yeah, that's mine. I'll just take it. Wait, I need that back. Like you could. When you need a friend to carry you.
Connor wanted you to have this.
And when you're broken on the ground.
Dear Evan Hansen, he wrote it to you.
His last words, Connor took his own life.
Hey, what? I'm sorry, Connor didn't write this.
No, please. It's this.
You will be found.
Seeing that, I mean, it makes you want to see the movie. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to see the movie. But what it doesn't tell you is that this movie is a musical. Yes, this movie is a musical. And after seeing The Heights earlier this year, I didn't know if I was ready for another musical. I mean, Grease is a classic, and then you have High School Musical, which I didn't really see. That was kind of like my kids' thing, but to see a musical, I didn't know if I was ready to sit through a musical. I mean, you don't want them saying, I'm hungry, give me a burger. I didn't know if it was going to be like that, but you know what? I was glad that I went and saw that movie because that movie is really good. This is a movie that started off as a novel and then turned into a play and then, of course, was made into a movie. But I can see why it was made into a movie because it is really good. It is by Steven Levenson. But am I pronouncing that right? Okay, it's by Steven Levenson. And you know what? He won a Tony Award for that. And the person that played Evan Hansen, Ben Platt, he won a Tony Award for this also, for their play that was on Broadway, which is Dear Evan Hansen. And I can see why. Let's jump into those reasons. Now, the first thing that you see about the movie is that he has a lot of anxiety. He is completely socially awkward. He takes a bucket load of medicine in the morning, and I don't believe that they should be pushing all those depression medicine on kids, but hey, who am I? So he's taking all these things and he's actually going to go to school. So I'm thinking like, okay, this is just to get him out the door. His mom is played by Julianne Moore, that A-lister actress. You've seen her in a lot of different things. Of course, Hannibal and then Boogie Nights. And then actually she had a really good role in Chloe. You got to check that out too. But, you know, she's convincing him, hey, get on to school. I need you to get out and make some friends. I need you to get out and try to have human interaction with other people, you know, and always remember what your therapist said. Now, his therapist had told him to write. The book is not like a diary like a woman would have, but it's more like a journal. And he's supposed to write about his feelings so he can look at it and visualize it, and then hopefully he can change it. Now, he starts off the movie with a cast on his arm. We don't know how he got it, but we soon find out. So at school, his mom had told him earlier that once you try to get people to try to sign your cast, he did. Of course, no one wants to sign it. No one pays attention to him. No one even acts like he's there. And that's the part that I begin to kind of, you know, give me that little lump in my throat, because I felt so bad for him. Like, oh my gosh. And every time you feel horrible, then they break out in a song. Now, Ben Platt has a very good voice. He played in the Pitch Perfect movies. He also played in Drunk Parents and then Father of the Bride 3, along with a host of other things that he's done. But you know what? His voice is really good. It's not all super theatrical. It has some soul in it. I mean, he could have won like America's Idol or something. He has like a lot of soul in his voice. So you feel him when he's talking about the things that's going on in his head. And he sees a kid named Connor being bullied, and of course Connor doesn't do anything, as sometimes people do. Instead of standing up to the bully like you would think people do, no, he doesn't do anything. So he sees Evan watching, and he goes over and bullies Evan. So Evan goes into a full panic attack, a full panic mode, and he still, you know, I would have went home, you know, but he stayed at school. And after that, he's like, let me hurry up and get to the library so I can write down what I'm feeling, like the therapist said. So he did that, and he talked about he wish he was dead. He doesn't want to be alive. He doesn't want to be on this world anymore. If nobody's going to be there, if nobody's going to notice him, if he's not going to have friends, what's the point in living? And in that part, I mean, the thing is like a tearjerker, because I felt really bad, like, oh my gosh. And then Connor took his life that night. She said, the only thing I found on him was this letter that was written to you. Now, mind you, the therapist said for him to write letters, but he's writing them in third person to himself. So Evan, being so socially awkward, very hard to speak to people, he's trying to fumble for the words. He's trying to talk to him. He's trying to tell him, no, you don't understand. That letter is to me, but they are just talking over him, and then they begin to cry. They begin to feel so bad because they lost their son, and he saw that, and he didn't want to break their heart. Sometimes when you see someone going through something or they're already down, it's hard to kick a person when they're down. It really is. So he didn't have the heart to tell him that he didn't write that. That was not for him. She looks over and says, he signed your cast. You guys must have been good friends. Please come over tonight. And then the movie just takes off from there. He is so happy to be invited to their house. They're arguing amongst each other. They're saying about how mean he was, how he never was nice to anyone in this family. And that's how the father feels. And they're two successful parents, but they just didn't have time for their children. And sometimes that happens, unfortunately. You want to have nice things. You want to live in a great house, but you know what? People got to work for that stuff. And sometimes kids just get, you know, tossed to the side. So Evan jumps in and he tries to save the day. She's asking him question after question, and instead of him coming clean that he did not know Connor, he went ahead and told them what they wanted to hear. He used his imagination about a place that he would love to go with a friend, because he was always doing stuff by himself. He didn't have any friends, so he made up this whole friendship between him and Connor. And it seems really pathetic. It's like, oh no, he didn't do that, but then you have to have a heart to understand why he did that. So with that connection, that is what made the movie, because he is just taking off with that. I mean, his imagination is going. They went here, they went there. There's no stopping the things they did together, because no one really knew Connor. He had a lot of problems. He had a lot of depression. We find out he had previous suicide attempts. He had an addiction. He had been in rehab a few times, and they just didn't have a good sense of who their son was, because he was so isolated from them. He kept up a wall that they could not crack. So that's why they go to Evan out more about their son. And it seems to see why they did it. What did they do wrong? Because they can spend their whole life blaming themselves. So as the movie goes on, you see him start to just open up and, you know, starts to blossom into this person that was always there. He has friends at school. People are like, hey, what's up, Evan? You know, he's walking down the hallway. People are like, hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up? Hey. So he has friends. He has social media following now. He has friends on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. everything. Everybody wants to be his friend because they want to be the friend of the boy that committed suicide. And then they start a foundation for him. They start they start a school memorial for him. And, you know, even though kids did not know him, they now knew him because he passed away, and now kids feel bad and they want to recognize him. Body's that part of being a friend. He made up the emails using a different IP address, and you know, all these things are coming together, but then as they come together, they begin to slowly unravel. And that's when he tells his secret to Amanda Stingler. You've seen her before. I mean, her face is so recognizable. You've seen her in like the Hunger Games. You've also seen her in one of my favorites, which is Everything, Everything. And then also, of course, The Hate You Give. Now, he tells his secret to her about that he really didn't know him at all. And please don't tell anybody. And of course, what do you think she did? She didn't mean to. I really don't feel it was malicious, but she told. And she told on social media because you know what? She was like, this isn't right. Wanted to come clean. And she told, and everybody has turned their back on him. So he just doesn't know where he's going to go from there. And at one scene, you think he killed himself, because no one can find him. Well, no one's looking for him, but his mom can't find him. And then you find him and he's in a room and he's just distraught. So happy they didn't show another suicide, because I don't think I could have took it. I really don't think this makeup and these lashes could have took another suicide in this movie. And with that being said, let me just tell you that I definitely give this movie a 9.5. I did not give it a 10. Because, I don't know, why didn't I give it a 10? You know what? I give this movie a 10. And the reason why I give it a 10 is because it really touched me. It really touched me. And I don't know if it would touch other people. You know, it's so heartfelt. You know, you could feel this person's feelings, and I can understand why they had them singing. Because sometimes when you sing and with music, it will actually affect you more than just hearing words going into your ear, if that makes sense. Because I felt it. I felt some of the things that he was saying, and yourself, how it feels to be wanted, how it feels to want to belong to something. And that's all Evan wanted to do. And you know what? That's all Connor wanted to do. But they were just two different people in two different ways. Now, he goes on, he does not get friends. They do not come back and be his friend. So he graduates by himself with his mom there. But you know what I liked about this movie? It made him strong, because he didn't care what other people thought. He didn't care about the social media anymore. He was on a mission at this point, a self-fulfilling mission, to find out who was Connor. Did anybody know him? He was resilient. He wasn't going to stop until he found somebody that knew him to tell his parents to tell the sister her brother was. And it took about a year or so. It shows you as time goes on, but someone did contact him, and you know what? They showed how he really was. And he was a good kid that no matter what Evan went through, he wanted to make sure his mother and the whole world saw who Connor was. And I think that's the best thing about this movie. And then on that note, I'll see you next time.